Well, welcome. Thanks for coming after lunch. I thought we'd do something a little different this time. We're going to have a little game today. And we're going to have some massive prizes that we're going to be giving away. Now, we have some restrictions because I found out recently we're not supposed to give away prizes. Okay? But RSA has been very gracious, so we're going to give away these prizes, and they're magnificent prizes. You may have seen some of them on your vendor floor. We're going to give away the prize, but I'm not going to mention the vendor. You'll just have to figure that out, okay? So that's where we'll go. We'll kind of meet halfway that way. So today we're combining different kinds of technology. Cybersecurity, we're always combining different types of technology. So today we're kind of doing operational technology, kind of that kind of session. So we have something right here, which I'm going to get to in a little bit, which is my operational device. And then we have something that we're going to be using some technology. Now, what could go wrong, right? So I'm hoping this is going to work. But so I'll do my best. We've tested it. We've tried to do everything that we could. But I'm going to need you to pay really close attention to the instructions so that we can make this technology work. And then you might win these massive prizes that we're going to be giving away today. Just a little bit, my background. I've been a CISO for a couple decades now. I write books. I wrote the CISO Compass book, which has been the #1 best-selling cybersecurity book each of the last 5 years. We also just published the Privacy Leader Compass book. I'm mentioning that. Please do not ding me for commercialization on your evals, and please do fill out your evals because we're going to be doing a book signing at 2:30 right after this session in the RSA bookstore. And the bookstore usually sells out of the books, so I'm just going to say that. I have an assistant back there that's waving. That's Dr. Valerie Lyons. She has a PhD in privacy, and she is the co-author of the Privacy Leader Compass. So we will both be signing books there. So I started this podcast, CISO Stories, which was really based on the CISO Compass book. If any of you have it, there's these gray boxes in there, and we invited 75 top CISOs to give a perspective on a different issue. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do a podcast, 30 minutes, and do a deep dive on that topic with that person that wrote that piece? So bringing CISOs to you free of charge, okay? And so that's what we did. Well, that was how it started. We're now on 175 episodes. So that's why there's 175 leadership issues that we're going to be talking about today. It just shows the breadth of what a CISO has to deal with. So we're going to be picking some of those. And I'm we'll get into that as to how we're going to do that. The high-tech process we're going to be doing today is supported by AI, by the way. I just have to say that because this is a RSA conference presentation. I did the podcast, and then we're going to add some balls to that, right? Okay, and then we're going to come up with some ideas with that. And you're going to participate in this. You're going to have a chance through the use of your smartphones to participate in this. And I'll explain at the end of the presentation actually why AI was in there. So what's a CISO? I came up with this model, the CISO evolution, and I think it's important that we look at how we got here. How many of you are CISOs today? Okay, we have a lot of you in there. How many of you want to be CISOs? Okay, look to the CISO next to you and ask them how stressful their job is and try to encourage them to quit. And then get their business card, and then there will be a new opportunity for you. But so limited, if we look back, Steve Katz was the first CISO. We started off with limited security, and they made him an executive position so that he would have equal footing with the other business executives. Now, this is how a lot of the first CISOs were back in those days.
When we asked Reebok to send us Terry Tate, some people thought we were crazy. But I'm a firm believer in paradigm breaking, outside the box thinking.
Hey, buddy.
Break was over 15 minutes ago, Mitch!
And since Terry's been with us, our productivity has gone up 46%. We're getting more from our employees than ever before.
You know you need a cover sheet on your TPS reports, Richard. That ain't new, baby.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, Janice.
But what's really impressed me is how Terry's become part of the Felcher family.
Yeah, baby.
He fits right in here.
That's a long distance call, Doug.
To be honest, I wish Reebok sent us 10 Terry Tates.
You want to play games, Gene? Well, when it's game time, it's pay time, baby. Woo!
So how many of you were those security officers? How many of you don't want to admit it? So we started off that way, and then we got into this regulatory compliance era where we had PCI, HIPAA, GLBA, all those things came out, the privacy directives. And that was really a changing point, because that was when chief security officers were all of a sudden required in companies. And so then everybody became HIPAA compliant, GLBA compliant, and it was like a checklist approach. Well, that didn't really work, so then we needed some tools. We needed GRC tools, right? Things to help manage our risk, because we can't apply the same amount of security to everything else. And then once we got it all figured out, then we get these little things in our pockets called phones, right? With Apple came out, we also had Facebook, we were moving things to the cloud, and so now the data is moving farther away. So this is still part of the CISO's job. And then I think if we look at these guys here, Mr. Jobs, Mr. Zuckerberg, and Mr. Bezos, they had a big impact in that arena. And then as we look at the privacy piece, about 2016, we started shifting into privacy, understanding where is our information, and then how do we keep it secure? How can we be secure if we really don't know what we have? And should we be collecting it in the first place? And then how long should we be retaining it? And then, all the laws that came out, GDPR in 2016 with compliance by 2018, all those things that the CISO had to now start thinking about that has really changed us. And now privacy is becoming just a huge issue with AI and ethics. And so all of this stuff is really converging. And I think we've entered into a new phase, I'd say starting about 2022. And it's what I'm calling the integrated global business resiliency throughout the supply chain. So our jobs really is to make sure the organization is resilient to be able to do what it can do, but not just us. We also have to be looking through that whole supply chain. What's interesting about this model is it's cumulative, right? None of those things go away. We just keep adding to the pile of the CISO, and that's why this role has gotten so much attention over the years that we've had. The first book I wrote was called CISO Leadership Skills in 2008. And it was the first book. It was published by ISC Squared. And the book is about this thick. My later books are more than double that. And so it just shows what we're really dealing with. So enough of that stuff, right? You came here to play a game, right? So let's not waste any more time. So, I need you to listen very carefully to these instructions. So, I'm going to randomly select a ball. Wondering what this is. It's not a watermelon. Guarantee that. And I'm not going to be like, what was it, Gallagher that used to take the knives and chop them up on stage? I'm not going to do that for you. But I have in here I have 40 balls. I'm juggling a lot of balls these days. And so, each of these balls has a number on it that corresponded to one of the podcasts. Now, I have shrunk this down a little bit because creating 200 of these things would have taken a really long time. So I've got 40 in here that we're going to go by. And so here's where the audience participation comes in. You're going to be using your smartphones, I'm going to tell you this before you get on the app, okay? When you log in on your smartphone, you're going to see all of the poll questions, okay? And they start with 0, and they go up, and they're not sequential. They're sequential, but they skip numbers because there's 40 out of 175, right? Okay, but they're in order. Don't answer them until I draw a ball, okay? Everybody hear that? Raise your hand if we get that. All right, I'm looking for that one person that didn't raise their hand. You, sir. You, sir. You didn't raise your hand. Are you going to do that for me? Yeah, you are? You're okay, you're only going to answer the question on the phone that comes up, right? Okay, good. And you behind him, you make sure he does that. You look over his shoulder, okay? All right, so we're going to do that. And then after everybody's answered the question, I'm going to throw up the results. I'm not going to throw up, really. But I'm going to put the results up on the screen. And then I'm going to play just a 15 to 30 second little clip of that person that did this interview with me to give their quick perspective. I'll share a quick perspective, and then we'll move on to the next thing, and you will get a prize. So every one of you has a card. Does anybody not have a card? Good. Very good job. The assistant in the back room did a fantastic job making sure that nobody was missed. 100%. Let's give her a hand. Thank you. All right. So if you match that number that I draw, you're going to be one of the lucky ones to get one of these fantastic prizes that we have curated for you. All right. So here's what we need to do. Don't answer any questions yet, okay? Go to your phones, scan the QR code, and it should automatically come up. If it doesn't, you can go to pigeonhole.at and enter the passcode, okay? So raise your hand if you see a screen that says Pigeonhole on it with a bunch of questions. Is everybody with me? Good. All right. So I'm going to quit talking. I'm going to spin. I think there's $1 million prize in here. I may have taken it out before we started, though. I'm not sure. And we randomly draw one out. And that number is number 87. So, no, I'm sorry, not 87. Number 150. 150. So, the question is, do you really want to be a CISO? By Spencer Mott from CSO of Bookings.com. What core competency is crucial for a CISO? A, technical expertise, B, financial acumen, C, degrees of resilience, or D, marketing skills? Okay, raise your hand if you've answered the question, just to give me an idea how long this takes. Okay, good. Okay, and let's see what our answer is. Oh, it works. I like that. So this is how we voted. Degrees of resilience. Give yourself a hand. That's what Spencer said as well. Now, let's see if this works.
what I've learned is, that some of the core competencies are actually to do with degrees of resilience, making sacrifices in terms of your time and priority calls, and actually facing the reality that you're often going to have to be the person on the spot to take responsibility or accountability for sometimes things that you don't directly control.
And so, when we look at these things, everybody says, oh, you need to have the right technical expertise. That's table stakes, right? And much more today, organizations, if you look at Korn Ferry, they've looked at things like the skills like empathy, social skills, influence. Those are the things that are going to get you to the bigger and bigger job. So raise your hand if you had number 150 on your card that you raise it high. And Valerie's going to be coming around. Keep them up. Raise them high. And this nice little bear, I can't say the vendor name, unfortunately. But you're going to come around and keep your hand up until you get your little prize there. Okay. Now, I'm going to go spin another one. Cybersecurity myths and misconceptions, avoiding pitfalls by the esteemed Eugene Spafford of Purdue University. How does Spafford suggest cybersecurity training and awareness should be approached in organizations? A, by focusing on punitive measures for security failures. B, by integrating security controls with employee workflows to facilitate their job functions. C, by mandating frequent security training sessions. Or D, by outsourcing most security training to third-party vendors. Dun, 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 dun. And the answer is, according to you, by integrating security controls with employee workflows, yes. We want to make sure that we've got the right security controls, integrating the security awareness training into that. The mandated training may work, doesn't always work. Let's listen to Spaff.
When you hire somebody, you hire them because there's a job to do and they want to get their job done. Failing to take into account that some of these rules and security mechanisms get in the way of doing the job isn't really a good thing to do.
Okay. All right. We have an 8-ball. Who had number 100? You kind of went like that. Is that like a 50 or is that a 100? Or you're not sure? Did you have 100? On your card that you received when you walked in the door. You have 100?
Yeah, it's showing the card.
Oh. Did anybody have 100? Nobody in this room had number 100? Huh, that's interesting. Okay, well, we'll go to the next one here. Okay, 4 pieces of transitional advice for incoming CISOs. No secret squirrels principle emphasizes A, maintain strict confidentiality on security operations within the team. B, limiting detailed security information to senior cybersecurity personnel. C, promoting transparency in security processes to engage and inform stakeholders. Or D, using coded communication to prevent data breaches within the team. And the answer is promoting transparency in security processes to engage stakeholders.
Spend time as a new security person, as somebody on this team, learn about what the other functions in security do. Go meet people. Go to lunch or coffee with somebody if you're in an office, which can be hard nowadays. But really understand the other parts of security. As I was really focused on blue team and investigations and incident response, I kind of ignored the rest of the domain. I was like, GRC, I don't need to know about that. What does it matter to me? And then all of a sudden it did matter to me, and I needed to catch up a lot.
I think this is awesome advice. Instead of just staying in our lane, if we want to be CISOs, or if we are CISOs today, and we got there because of one path, we really need to develop knowledge in all those other paths as well. Who had 153? Okay, keep your hand up. We got an 8-ball coming for you. Are you having fun yet? Yeah. Good. I don't have any music or anything. I could have brought some music. I could have some. Anybody wants to sing in between rolls? Do we have any good singers in here?
Yeah, but I don't think Carmina Burana fits.
No? Okay, 126. Security at Scale, Building Trust, starting with cybersecurity by the Deputy CISO at Walmart. What mindset does he believe is innate among security professionals? A compliance-first approach to security measures. B, an adversary mindset focused on identifying and mitigating threats. C, a preference for traditional security methods over new solutions. D, an inclination to overlook the human aspect of cybersecurity. This would be good prep for a CISSP exam or something, wouldn't it? Let's hear what he has to say.
Security is no longer a back office question. It's no longer the question you ask right before you put code into production. I think everybody realizes that not getting security right, it creates an existential problem for the business. And so to do that, we as leaders, we have to adapt and shift our mindset.
Yep, an adversary mindset is where he's going with that. So, what else do we have here? We have this ball here, which is actually a Rubik's Cube, but a cylinder ball. Who had number 126? 126, anybody? Check your cards. Nobody had 126? Wow, statistically, I'm finding this interesting. Oh, that could be. Do I need to up the offer to something bigger? Okay, for a new car. No, okay, that won't be happening. Okay, 159. Oops, that's not it. Sorry. There we go. Steve Shelton, better CISO health in the new year from burnout to balance. Steve was a salesperson for many, many years, experienced a lot of burnout himself, and so he started focusing on this. How does focused breathing help CISOs in stressful situations? A, it increases the heart rate and alertness. B, it interrupts survival instinct mode and promotes calm. C, it is mainly for physical exercise, not stress. D, it has no significant impact on stress levels. Very good. It interrupts the, so when you're doing deep breathing, it helps your whole body out. So
there's this mentality as a cybersecurity professional that you've just got to like hunker down and just take all of the stressors that are coming your way and just take the beating in order to get the job done, pretty much denying any mental or emotional challenge that you're experiencing.
It's a big discussed issue today. How many of you in the group are alcoholics? No? Drugs? Any other addictions? No, I mean, it's you know, we all deal with stress in different ways, and we have to adapt to that. So, what gift do we have here? Let's find something fun. What do we got? How about, that's kind of boring. Let's see what we got here. That's kind of fun. How about a nice little keychain, a little car keychain. But it also comes with, you get two prizes for one here. This is going to be worth the wait, so I would, you know, well, I can't find it here. But two prizes for one is a hydration packet for tomorrow morning, which some of you may need, which this is probably a really perfect one to give it to you for, right? Number 80, who had number 80? Raise your hand. Oh, I picked the next one. Yeah, 159. See, you're keeping me honest. The winners will always keep you honest. Okay, next one is number 80. Thanks for the prompt. Okay, here we go. Okay, How to Talk to Your Lawyer by Mark Rosch. Mark Rosch, if you don't know who he is, he actually wrote the Computer Abuse Act of 1986. He is also the person who prosecuted Kevin Mitnick, and has a whole bunch of other things to his name. Really nice guy. How does Rosch describe the relationship between compliance and the objective of legal guidance in cybersecurity? A, compliance should be the ultimate goal. B, compliance should be a consequence of doing the right thing. C, legal guidance should focus primarily on compliance. Or D, compliance and legal guidance are unrelated.
But if you have a lawyer that doesn't understand the technology, then the CISO is not doing their job. Part of the CISO's job is to explain to the lawyer the technology and the environment in which they're operating.
Okay, so I really like this, that his view is that, you know, if our lawyers don't understand, and how many of you are dealing with lawyers? Yeah, isn't that a fun bunch to deal with? How many of you are lawyers? Yeah. Oh, good. How'd that happen? That we really need to put it in their terms. And you know, you always get that answer from a lawyer, right? It depends. In fact, I was asking Mark once, I said, well, we were talking about a cyber breach, and the actual breach doesn't really matter, but I said, so which side do you think is right, you know? And he said, well, it depends on who's paying me. And so a good lawyer always understands both sides of that argument. And I think we can learn something from that. Just that idea as being CISOs. We may be passionate about an idea in our organization. It may not even be a legal issue. But what do we do to actually influence the rest of the organization to support our idea? We should be looking at how are they going to tear it apart and so forth. So. For number 80, we have a very, very cool little office kit here. It has staples in it, a mini stapler, Post-it notes, rubber bands, paper clips, tape, everything you need right here for your office. So if you're in a home office, this is the only thing that you need. So who had number 80? Nobody had 80? Okay. Let me ask this. Raise your hand real quickly. Who wants one of these things? Okay. Okay. Keep it high. We'll pass them out until they're gone. All right. There we go. Okay, tell the number first. All right. $138. Do you have that one too? How many cards did you get when you walked in? 138, teams are built around key players performing great functions, by Ralston Simmons, Director of Information Security for Vivid Seats. According to Ralston, what is a misconception about talent shortage in cybersecurity? A, it's a long-term issue with no foreseeable solution. B, it's a short-term challenge that can be addressed by evolving existing skills. C, it affects primarily small and medium-sized enterprises. Or D, it's unrelated to the evolution of IT roles over time. Ah, interesting. Seem to have a difference of opinion here. A long-term issue, a short-term issue, primarily affects small enterprises. Let's listen to Ralston.
I think we're in the cycle of believing that there's a shortage, and it's a short-term shortage, but what we've shown in the past is IT has had the ability to evolve over time and go back and evolve those skills of the people who are there.
So one of the things Ralston has set up successfully in his company, he used to work for an investment firm before Vivid Seats, is using that internship program to help develop, to bring people into the organization. I think we put all these requirements out there for job descriptions are ridiculous, right? I mean, we're sometimes asking for brain surgeons when all we need is somebody that can change a Band-Aid, right? Take our help desk people. That's a great entry path into the organization. Give them the skills, and then you can teach them the other things along the way. But I think sometimes we're too afraid to take that kind of a risk. And aren't we risk managers? We should be managing the risk of not being able to get our people. If you invest in somebody, they're likely to stay with your organization a long time, provided that you keep compensating them the right pay along the way as well. What do we got here? I got a bottle. How's that? There's nothing in there. No, sorry. I didn't have time to stock it, but you can stock one and bring it back to me. So who had 138? 138. Okay, so this next one, you're going to get a bottle, and you're going to get a round Rubik's Cube. And if there's any 8 balls left over, we'll throw one of them babies in there too. 87. Should we be concerned about quantum computing and cybersecurity now? By Richard Rushing from Motorola Mobility. Quantum computing is less powerful and more theoretical at this stage. Quantum computers have surpassed traditional computers in most aspects. C, quantum computing offers different computational approaches, but is not necessarily more powerful at all tasks. Traditional computers may remain the best viable option for practical computing needs.
What quantum will allow us to do, and this is where people have issues, is solve really hard math problems very quickly. And encryption and authentication are in the crux of those things that are there. And I think that's the big concern for a lot of organizations.
Yeah, I think it's a tool. You know, we've been focusing so much on AI lately that we're not really paying much attention to quantum, and we really should be. We should be looking in our organizations to say, what if we had to replace all of our encryption? What would that take? Would we even know where to start? And we should be having projects that help prepare us for that. Okay, who had 87? Okay, we get one of these, a water bottle. We have a Rubik's Cube and we have an 8-ball. Okay, just gonna see how fast she can dance back there. Okay, so I've got number 116. County government cyber. Don't let the roadblocks stop you. From Fairfax in Los Angeles County, Michael Dent and Richard Greenberg. Just saw him last night here at RSA. What unique challenges do county governments face compared to private sector organizations? A, county governments are driven by competition. B, county governments operate with less bureaucracy and red tape. C, they face a slower pace of change and must navigate more bureaucracy and red tape. D, they have larger budgets and fewer constraints on spending for cybersecurity. And the answer is, how many of you work in county governments or a state or a local government, federal government?
100% consent.
Seems to be a common thought here, doesn't it?
You have to have your leadership understand, one, they're elected. In order to remain elected, they need to invest in the program because it protects the citizens' data and the reputation of your county. If those two things aren't done, re-election's probably a hard thing to do for them, and they need to understand that. And our mission as CISOs is not to stop business. It's not that at all. We service these citizens. We want to make sure their data that they're entrusting us with is protected, and making sure that the leaders understand that as well.
You know, one thing I was finding, you can hear it from his voice, is that people that work for government, cities, support those things, are very passionate about the mission. You know, because the pay isn't always there, and a lot of times that's like a good stepping stone. You know, if you're not a CISO today and you want to be a CISO, look at the county governments. Forget about the pay. Just forget about that for a minute. It's going to maybe even less than what you're making right now. But the experience that you're going to get in those environments, managing that is great. And it's usually people are drawn to those things because they agree to the mission. Who had 116? Okay. All right, we got another Rubik's Cube here. Okay, 119. Preparing your CISO successor. Dave Eslick, CISO at Chipotle. He's here at the conference as well. What critical advice does Eslick give regarding the tenure of a deputy CISO role? A, it should be a short-term position, at least 5 years. B, it should not exceed a 24-month tenure. C, it should be considered as a permanent position within the company. D, it should only be assigned to individuals not aspiring to be CISOs. How many of you have a deputy CISO? Okay, a few of you. So what do you do then? In San Francisco, right? You're doing strategic things, right? Which means looking out a nice hotel window in San Francisco on a sunny day, thinking like, what needs to come next, right? That's why you need a deputy CISO. I'm just giving you a little hint there. Okay. Ooh, look at this.
If you take a look at not what you think that you may want to do, but what seems to come natural or easy. And if you find things that come easy to you but difficult to most other people, you probably have a natural affinity for it, and you know, can at that point use that as the basis to understand more and really be successful at that particular area.
I really like that. You know what he's really said. I read a lot of books, leadership books, Myers-Briggs books, Belbin Teams Roles books, Enneagrams. I love that kind of stuff. And it's really about understanding what your gift is. And I think, I'm older in my career, you may have noticed. But when you're younger, sometimes you struggle because well, why are they so good at that? And I need to learn that. And this person's really good. And when you figure out what your gift is, and you go down that lane and just invest in that, it's like Peter Drucker said, you don't need to be everything, Focus on what you're good at and get other people to do those other things that you're not as good at. And there's absolutely nothing wrong at that, because then you can be the best at something. Dave's perspective on this was it should not exceed a 2-year tenure. And the reason he says that is if you are truly passionate about developing a deputy CISO, you want that person to go somewhere else to get the CISO job. You're helping to elevate them. Because that's what they want. It's not just a role, so that, when we don't have other things to do. 2 years to help develop them. Okay, we're getting near the end here, so I have some other, I'm going to randomly pick out number 3. Doing privacy right versus doing privacy right versus doing privacy rights, by that person in the back room there. According to the discussion, what term did Eric Schultz of Google use to describe where consumer discomfort begins regarding privacy? A, the privacy threshold, B, the personalization paradox, C, the creepy line, D, the privacy boundary. Oh, different answers here.
I think the big thing is we need to change how we view privacy. Together we can share in the positives and the outputs of that. Then we change how we see privacy.
Okay, who had number 3? One person? Okay. Since we can't have any promotion of any things here, I have some things that might be worth reading in a bag that we're going to give you a signed copy of. So Valerie, do you want to, not the whole bag, he only gets one. What, I forgot 119? Oh, I'll get a prize for that. Who had 119? One person had 119? I did? A Rubik's Cube? Oh, I did. Just one. No, just the one, that one. The privacy book. Take the other one. Oh, that's his own? Oh. I want him back. I want him back. Put that back in the bag, please. Thank you. Thank you. No. This guy right here, the other mysterious number 3 book. Okay. All right. So, and I have one more number, which is a number that's on that man's card over there. That's not number 3. What number would that be, sir? 200. Does anybody have the number 200? Yeah, we got a 200. You get that other security kind of dead weight thing that I can't mention. So, okay. Those are the prizes. I'll tell you really quick. How much time have I got? Okay. So I know we're coming up on the end here. I want to just tell you real quick how I generated this presentation. And I think it's important since everybody's talking about AI here, but we all have to dig in and use AI. I now use it on my podcast all the time. It's how I used to sit down, I probably shouldn't say this, but I used to sit down with a cup of coffee and a blank sheet of paper, and I'd have a guest on a particular topic, and I'd say, here's some questions I could ask. Now, I pump an abstract into ChatGPT, say, give me 5 to 10 questions I can ask a CISO about this stuff. And I'll tell you what, there's always a couple things I didn't think of that weren't in my radar. But it happens like this. And so I can prepare for that quickly. This particular presentation, I had the task of taking 40 of 30-minute interviews and coming up with 5 multiple choice questions for each one that I was going to pick from. 200 multiple choice questions. Now that's 20 hours of audio. I did that in 3 hours on a Friday afternoon with AI. Now that should make us all stop and think about our jobs. How did I do that? I found a piece of AI software that would listen to the audios for me and create a manuscript text of it. I upgraded to ChatGPT 4 because if you don't know this, with ChatGPT 4, you can interact with a file. And then I would ask ChatGPT 4, give me 5 to 10 questions to ask a bunch of CISOs about this material. And I generated 200 multiple choice questions in 3 hours. And then, now I will tell you, ChatGPT, it comes up with some pretty basic stuff. Right? And so I had to tweak them, or the answers would just be too obvious. And so that's my lesson, I guess, on AI, if you take nothing else out of this. Thanks for being a great group. And on your way out, any of those things that we have back there that you would like to grab, please do, because I'm not taking them back with me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.